Today, we're going to talk about wardrobe boredom and discontent. And this is really the time of year where I feel like that kind of conversation is just pertinent, other than like Black Friday slash the holiday season. And I find this time of year the most tempting to buy new clothes or maybe just make wardrobe purchases that aren't strictly necessary. I was initially going to open up this video talking about wardrobe discontent, talking about that feeling, that classic feeling of opening your wardrobe or your closet or your drawers and feeling like you have nothing to wear, feeling like everything you own sucks. You're just kind of bored of it all. That feeling could also be feeling unhappy with what you own, feeling like it's not good enough, feeling like it's not new or exciting enough, but also feeling like what you own doesn't really match your personal style. And all of this can lead you to feeling like your wardrobe is less exciting and ultimately buying more clothes, buying new clothes. And that's a feeling that we can have really any time of the year, but like it's okay to feel bored with your wardrobe and your clothes. Boredom can be manufactured as well. And we're going to talk about that today. But ultimately, boredom is normal. It's what you do with those feelings that matter. And you have control over how you react and the habits that you create around boredom. So today I'm going to be talking about 5 reasons you might be feeling bored or discontent with your clothes. And let's get into them. Number 1 is the seasonal refresh, and this one is the most timely. This is a habit that many of us cultivate that ultimately is you're bored, so your solution is to shop. If your solution is to shop every time you feel bored or discontent or unhappy with your wardrobe, then you've built yourself a habit, friend. This effectively trains you to primarily or exclusively value things based on their novelty and newness, meaning that something only has value to you, that you only enjoy it or like it when it's new or because it's new. Stuff is new for only a short period of time, and how frequently you buy stuff can vary or influence how long something feels new to you. Now, if you only value something when it's new, then that becomes your window for appreciation and the window for value, which means that you feel bored once that window is over, and therefore the solution is to shop. And it ultimately kind of creates this ebb and flow and this wave that is somewhat manufactured. You get this low, this discontent feeling after that newness, that new shiny feeling has worn off, and you can kind of create this itching sense or this desire to feel that high again. There's something similar going on with the seasonal refresh. Especially for a season like fall, a lot of the language is let's buy something new for fall. We buy something new because it's fall. And there's nothing wrong with buying new clothes for a season if there's a need for it or if there's budget for it. It's not inherently an evil. But what becomes the problem or the habit is buying something simply because it is fall. Being fall doesn't necessitate any kind of need. What I'm really talking about here is hauling and buying stuff by virtue of the season changing. Seeing the season as an important time to buy clothes is kind of like an arbitrary line in the sand. This becomes a habit when we train ourselves to buy something because of a specific time of the year. But what I am talking about is training ourselves, creating habits that anticipate us or expect us to buy new clothes. And when we do this, we set up an expectation that it's fall time, therefore I need to buy new clothes. And we set ourselves up for situations where in order to be happy, we need to buy new things. In order to feel value in our wardrobe, we need something new. And buying for a new season can feel justified. We're really creating associations. It's fall time. I need new clothes. And then we say, I need new clothes for fall. But what we're really doing is, I need new clothes because it's fall. It's not the same thing. You don't buying clothes in the fall time doesn't mean that you actually needed them or that they served a purpose. This is ultimately just because buying. Whether you're refreshing or buying something because you're bored, the goal isn't intentional. The goal is new, which basically means buying something simply because you like it. The goal is the dopamine hit. The goal is changing how you feel, not the functionality of your wardrobe. The impact here, it can be financial, but it can also be on this dopamine hit that we ride. And then I would say, yes, secondarily, is creating this habit. It can be quite destructive to create this habit where the only way you can appreciate something is because it's new. And that's a really hard habit to break, because you can stop buying new clothes, which might seem easy, but then you might have a difficult time actually appreciating those clothes in reality. The next thing is too many repeats. Practically speaking, when you own too many repeats, it can feel like you're wearing the same outfit over and over again. And this can happen in a couple of ways. You can buy true duplicates where you buy the exact same thing, just in different colors. I've done this with jeans and with sweaters and with t-shirts. And what has happened is I might own 3 or 4 of the same pairs of jeans, 3 or 4 of the same sweater, 3 or 4 of the same t-shirt. And even though all of the colors are changing, the silhouette is the same. And I feel like I'm wearing the same outfit over and over again when I have different clothes. But what can also happen is when you buy things that are functionally the same, even if they're not actually the same. And the same thing kind of goes with the sweaters, t-shirts, and jeans. I owned other jeans, other t-shirts, and other sweaters from different brands, and they might even have a little bit of a different silhouette. One sweater might be a little bit tighter than the other, or one t-shirt might be a little bit looser or boxier than the other, but I'm functionally wearing the same outfit: skinny jeans, t-shirt, sweater. And so I think this isn't necessarily just like a color thing. This is more of a silhouette thing. And wearing or feeling like you're wearing the exact same outfit over and over and over again can really make you bored and feel like you have no variety, when in fact you do. It's kind of like a manufactured thing. And with this, buying some things did make sense. Last year I bought some shackets, which I got 2 shackets last year. They added a wild amount of versatility, or even adding like one straight leg jean added in versatility and really changed up how I felt in my outfits. Number 3 is that you shop without intention. When you don't shop with intention, what will happen over time is that you just gather one-off pieces and you accumulate a wardrobe that doesn't really go together. Simply liking something doesn't make the item useful, practical, beneficial, or wearable. When you shop like this, it really shows, because you develop a wardrobe that's ultimately a hodgepodge, and then you can't mix and match all that easily. And then you could end up with things where like you can only wear this one shirt with this one pair of pants, or this one pair of pants only goes with like these 2 things, or something is in, let's say, like an orange color, but everything else you own is cool tones. You can't really match that orange thing with all the cool tones that you have, so you don't really wear it. We can develop hodgepodge in different ways, in terms of colors, but also in terms of silhouettes or shapes or even textures. But also this could just be like the overall feel of a thing. Like if a lot of your pieces are like really sporty and then you bring in some feminine stuff, it can be really cool to mix and match different styles. And sometimes that contrast can be really fun. Other times it could just feel like, how do I wear this one feminine blouse with this sporty stuff? And it can be difficult to kind of figure that out. You don't need to shop like a minimalist or even a capsule wardrober. I'm not saying that that's the only way to build a wardrobe. What I am saying is that you need to shop with intention. or simply more intention, or maybe intention for the first time. Shop in outfits, perhaps. Intentionality goes a long way. And when you have a hodgepodge, that ultimately can create a lot of quantity, but few things going together. So it can actually be that you have nothing to wear because you don't actually have anything that goes together. Number 4 is that you never stop looking for inspiration. Looking for inspiration to help you put together a wardrobe can be great, and inspiration can help you think more creatively, help you think outside of the box, and style pieces in new ways. But if you never stop looking for inspiration, or you look for inspiration in the wrong places, this can turn into a grass is always greener situation. In the past, what I found is that looking to other people's wardrobes for inspiration has made me felt jealous. This wasn't all of the time, but this was some of the time. I would feel like my wardrobe was inferior, or like it wasn't good enough because I didn't have their pieces, or because, my wardrobe wasn't like that. What this did was create a feeling of discontent. I felt as though my wardrobe was inferior or not good enough. That wasn't actually truth or reality, or that my wardrobe was bad. I was just all up in my feels about something. And so the way to rectify that feeling was to buy something new. Ultimately, buying a new thing could add versatility to your wardrobe, but that's not really the intention when you feel that way. It's to help absolve or rectify the way that you're feeling. And by purchasing something, we feel like we've achieved a solution. And this can become a negative cycle where you're constantly looking at what other people are wearing. We're looking at their wardrobe, and then we buy the new thing, and then we incorporate it into our wardrobe, and then we keep looking and we keep doing that. We feel like our wardrobe isn't complete, our wardrobe isn't good enough, and her eyes become focused on external, on other people's wardrobes. We're so concerned with other people are wearing, or what's the right thing to wear, what I should be wearing for fall, or even how my wardrobe could be better, instead of spending our time and energy on our current wardrobes, on thinking about how we can wear our own pieces and how we can style them in fun and new, interesting ways, or how we can get the most enjoyment out of our own clothes. This is a really fast way to get stuck into a discontent mindset. When I was first getting into the whole capsule wardrobe thing, I felt like I just wanted somebody to tell me what to wear. And so I spent a lot of time looking and watching videos and going on Instagram accounts, and I was buying the stuff that they were wearing because I wanted to look like them. When you do this, you're focused more on other people instead of yourself, and instead of thinking about like, how could I incorporate it into my life? Or is this really my style? Or is this really something that I might enjoy wearing? And kind of just more focused on what you're doing. I did this a lot when I was creating a new capsule for a season. And this was the time that I was the most influenced to buy new things. I was actively looking to put together a new capsule. And so I was looking for inspiration, and I would get sucked into how people were combining their clothes and their overall capsule. While I went looking with good intention, like how to style a straight leg pair of jeans, I would see the person style a straight leg pair of jeans that I had with stuff that I didn't have, and then felt like I needed to own those things in order to make my wardrobe more complete, but also to wear my specific item. Like, I need that thing in order to wear this item. And in 2021, I kind of got sucked into this whole Cezanne thing. And I needed to have these exact pieces to have the wardrobe that I want. Here is what I've learned. I have never felt happier in my wardrobe than in the last year. And that has been the time that I've actually spent the least on looking at what other people are wearing. I've just focused on my wardrobe. And when I look for inspiration now, it's with a specific piece in mind. Like, how do I style straight leg jeans, or how do I style this Cezanne Emmy blouse? I don't go looking kind of at like general fall wardrobe stuff anymore, because that has historically been something that has made me feel like spending money, but also made me feel like what I own isn't good enough. This can really just affect our ability to appreciate our wardrobes when we're constantly looking outside of ourselves and we're constantly looking and focusing on what we don't have instead of focusing on what we do have and how to style or create new things with what we have. I did this last year with Dark Academia, and I basically forced myself to only use what I have. I was not allowed under any circumstance to buy something new for this Dark Academia vibe because I knew it was a passing phase and it wasn't actually like a signature style that I wanted to embody. And so when I went looking for inspiration, it was kind of like, you got to be careful, Shauna, because you're not allowed to buy anything. So if you stumble across something that you really like, you're not allowed to buy it. So, proceed with caution. And there are a lot of ways to incorporate or try a trend with what you already have. And sometimes we can get so caught up in embodying something exactly that we miss the opportunities in our own wardrobe. We can get inspiration from a lot of ways. We can get inspiration from just a color or a texture or a silhouette. When it comes to Dark Academia, I might not have this truly academic inspired stuff, but I had jeans, I had dark colors, I did have a button down. Wasn't perhaps in that style, but I still had something to play with to give me that inspiration and give me that vibe. Because sometimes what we're looking for is we get this impulse, and what we really need to do is satisfy the impulse, even if it's in an adjacent way and not actually in a shoppy way. So perhaps what has been affecting your contentment or your boredom with your clothes or your discontent with your clothes is just continuously looking for inspiration. Number 5 is that you've slowly been increasing your baseline. This one can be really sneaky because often I don't think we realize that we've done this. And ultimately, what this is when you buy something new, let's say you buy a pair of jeans, and now you have 5 pairs of jeans. You get used to having 5 pairs of jeans, and then you want another one, and you buy another one. And sometimes we can justify our way into making another purchase. We can get bored with the quantity that we own, so the way to rectify that boredom is to buy another thing. We're tired of owning 5 pairs of pants, so we buy 6 pair of pants. We get used to a particular iteration of things, and the way that we combat that is by buying more things instead of leaning into and learning to appreciate what we already have. And this creates a cycle. We raise our baseline, we get bored, we buy again. Or when we shop every time we're bored or discontent. This is kind of similar to the first point that I was making because shopping is ultimately the solution. One area I actually noticed this happening with was my activewear. I think I had something like 4 pairs of like workout pants maybe 3 or 4 years ago. And then I was like, well, that's not enough because I work out 5 or 6 days a week. So I need one for every day. And then I think at one point I bought these like pink workout pants, and I'm like, well, those are only good for this summer. So now when I get rid of those, then I only have like 5. What am I going to do if like one is dirty or I can't actually wash this one thing in time? So then I need another one. And eventually I think I had 7 or 8. And then I decluttered a couple, I think one last year, and then I decluttered another one this year, and my baseline returned back down to roughly like a 5 maybe. And I realized that I only actually really need 5. And I think I decluttered another one really recently because it had seen its time. Used it for years and it was time to go. And I was back down to 5 from probably like a height of 8. And I only really need 5. I don't need more. And so my baseline was reduced and I'm totally fine. Hello, Editing Shauna here. I was just editing back this portion where I talk about reducing your baselines. And when you declutter, it can feel like a necessity. My baseline is reduced, therefore I need more things to bring myself back up to my baseline because that's the amount that I need. And so it can feel like a need, a don't have enough clothes, I need more. When in reality, we've just reduced our baseline. We don't actually know if we can live with that amount of stuff because we haven't. Unless it's something truly like you own 4 pairs of underwear and you would like one a week. Yeah, that would make sense. But very few things are actually like that, where we can't afford to play around with an iteration of owning that amount of things. So, owning less in itself isn't actually an indicator that you need to go shopping, but we often feel or react like that's actually the case. And this has kind of happened over the years with t shirts, with jeans, and with sweaters. And it's when I've decluttered, I've realized that I actually never needed all of that quantity to begin with. And it just kind of ended up being a distraction. And I'm just like seeing it all the time in my closet, but I'm not wearing it, or it's like something doesn't fit, or it just isn't right. And ultimately, with this one, it's getting accustomed to the baseline that can make us feel discontent. We get accustomed to a specific iteration or a specific quantity of stuff, and our solution is to shop. One thing I noticed about my past self is that I often looked to shopping as the first solution for boredom, for discontent, unhappiness, feeling like my personal style isn't right or it's not there. And so many people we see online pose shopping as the first step instead of the last step. And we can do a lot of figuring out what our personal style is without ever shopping. And we could do a lot for discontent and boredom without shopping either. That's it from me today. That's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you have any tips or any suggestions as to why you feel discontent with your wardrobe, I would love to hear that and hear your feedback, comments, and suggestions in the comments. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again around here soon. Bye.